Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Brahms recordings. I was reading the comments, which I read all of, and someone mentioned the fact that I hadn't done Brahms yet, and someone replied, well, he's going backwards in alphabetical order. No, I'm not. That's random reviews from the overflow room. These are all completely in no order at all. These are just random order. I just do them as the spirit moves me. Now, actually, what I'm trying to do is intersperse the most popular composers with some of the less popular composers, basically, in order to, create a pattern of tension and release, and hopefully to get some people to try some of the less familiar names to the extent that they show up here. I mean, when we're talking about the greatest recordings, they have to be composers great enough to have greatest recordings, obviously. So not everybody's going to be in there. I can't do all the composers I perhaps would like to, but, I think we're going to have quite a few. We've already had quite a few, and there are quite a few more coming. So the 5 greatest Brahms recordings are you ready? I know there's going to be just like a flood coming in here. But as I've said before, only 5. Some of you have thought you were going to be smart and give me double lists, historical ones or things by category. I delete them. If there's more than 5 names here, it gets deleted. This is the idea. 5 recordings, and that's it. Though sometimes those 5 recordings can be sets, boxes, or collections. I get it. If it's a series by a single group of artists that are packaged together, that can count as 1. But just 5. And I have to be particularly insistent upon this when we talk about Brahms, because it's hard. It's hard to make those choices. There's no question about it. There's a million recordings you're going to leave off that you think should be on, but that's too damn bad. Just give me 5, because that way we'll find out where the consensus lies. And also the range of what's available, without everybody having to empty their record collections in the form of comments. So you ready? Here we go. First, a German Requiem, Ein Deutsches Requiem. Who do you think? Klemperer on Warner. Yes, I mean, he also has some live ones, but this is the studio recording on Warner with the Philharmonia. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It still sounds just phenomenal. It has this amazing combination of warmth and humanity, but lack of sentimentality. People often say, what is the piece about? Well, it should never sound insipid or saccharine. It's about consolation, offering those who mourn consolation in their grief. That's the purpose of the work. That's the point of the work. That's what the texts that Brahms chose convey. And I think that Klemperer somehow captures that idea that here is an offering to you in your sorrow so that you can accept it and get the most out of it without being preached to, without being, without it's just an amazing, it's an honest performance. That's what it is. Just the sheer, unabashed honesty with no condescension, unlike people like, Karajan, for example. It's absolutely fabulous. So there you go. Next, Symphony number 3, my favorite of all the Brahms symphonies, and the unbelievable performance, Bruno Walter, the Columbia Symphony on Sony, the stereo one. His late recordings. Walter was very old when this happened. Remember, he was old enough to know Brahms. So was Klemperer. There's a lot to be said for these conductors who actually were around when Brahms was around, who could tell us something about an authentic Brahms style. But Walter's third is just phenomenal. Yes, I wish he took the exposition repeat in the first movement, but nobody did back then, and Brahms didn't even expect it. So, it is what it is. But the orchestra plays fabulously, and the interpretation is just perfect. It is perfectly paced. It's exciting as hell in the finale. It just goes with a naturalness and an expressive point which is unimaginably fabulous. I mean, there are other great recordings of the third, of course, but this one is really, really something special. Next, Serenade number 1. Yeah, not necessarily one of Brahms' more important works, but it's beautiful. Oh, it's such a lovely piece. And there has never been a more gorgeous performance than Bernard Haitink's with the Concerto on Phillips. It's another one of those cases, I keep saying this over and over again, where Haitink always seems to be at his best when a work requires special pleading. You know, where he's dealing with an underdog piece that needs to be given some kind of love. He just rises to the occasion. And he does here. You know, the serenades were written partly for a didactic reason, to teach Brahms how to handle woodwind instruments. Remember, the second serenade has no violins at all. It's all based on lower strings and woodwinds. And the first serenade doesn't have, it doesn't eliminate the first violins, of course, but most of the thematic material, or a lot of the thematic material, is written for the winds. The opening theme is for horn and clarinet. You know, I mean, that's the sort of thing you get. And the orchestration has a luminosity and a freedom that he deliberately sort of avoided when he came to write the symphonies, which are much more dense and a lot less colorful in some respects than the serenades. And Haitink just brings out all of the color, all of the freshness, the youthful vitality of the music. It's so, so beautiful. So there's that. Next, the string sextets. Now, I'm sure a lot of you will have more chamber music in your selection than I did. Brahms was, first and foremost, in the instrumental world anyway, a composer of chamber music. Otherwise, he was a songwriter. I mean, he wrote more songs than any other single thing. But he wrote fabulous chamber music, wonderful chamber music, mostly with piano. And so I wanted to choose something without piano. The string sextets with the Talich Quartet and friends on La Dolce Volta. Oh, what beautiful performances. And the second sextet, I just think it's one of the most beautiful pieces anybody ever wrote. It's stunning. If you don't know the second sextet, if you look at my playlist, the playlist How to Listen to Great Music, I take you through the Brahms second sextet movement by movement. An extraordinary piece, absolutely extraordinary. And these performances are luminous, incredibly, incredibly beautiful. And last but not least, the Violin Concerto with David Oistrakh, violin. Now, Oistrakh recorded the Brahms Violin Concerto, 3 times, 4 times? You know, it's always a question where, the Melodia recordings sort of come and go and you're not sure what's there. But he did a batch. And for Warner, EMI alone, he did it twice. Once with Klemperer, which is amazing, and once with George Szell, which is also amazing. The performances are very similar. I chose the second performance because I wanted to have some Szell Brahms on the list, and because I already have Klemperer in the German Requiem. So what the heck? Oistrakh is Oistrakh. He's just an incredible violinist, and he had a real affinity for this particular concerto. There's something about it that just hit him, and he projects it in both performances stunningly well. Wonderfully, wonderfully well. And for a long time, Warner did not release the Szell recording, the more recent one, which is slightly better recorded, because the Klemperer has always been in print. And when you're competing with yourself, and when you're competing with yourself at the very highest level, that's a little bit difficult for your record label. So I put in the Szell recording, and wow, what a performance that is. So there you have it, my friends, the 5 greatest Brahms recordings. I'm very interested to see your lists as well. I know you'll be able to come up with 5, and only 5. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.